All right, let's get right into this because it's a feeling that so many of us have had, but we don't always understand it. You know that feeling, that sense that you're too much, too emotional, too intense, just too everything. But what if that feeling isn't some flaw in your character? What if it's actually a signal, a sign about the situation you're in?
Really think about that for a second. Have you ever been told, or maybe you've just told yourself, that your feelings are way over the top? That you gotta calm down, pull back, or just stop being so intense? If you're nodding right now, then you are in exactly the right place.
And look, this feeling, it isn't just some vague idea, right? It has very real symptoms. It's that constant loop of overthinking every single text, every conversation. It's that low-grade anxiety that just kind of becomes your new normal. It's being tossed between these insane emotional highs when you get a little crumb of attention, and then these devastating lows when you don't. You're just completely consumed by them.
Now, this is the big idea we're going to unpack. What if all that emotional chaos isn't a sign that you're broken? What if it's a completely natural reaction to an unhealthy, unstable relationship dynamic? Just shifting your perspective on that, well, that can change everything.
So, let's get into how this actually works. We're going to call it the wrong person effect. And it's all about understanding that the crazy intensity you're feeling, it isn't always a sign of deep love or real intimacy. Sometimes it's actually a sign of deep insecurity.
So what's actually happening here, psychologically speaking, it's something called insecure attachment. See, when a relationship is built on inconsistency and uncertainty, when you just never know when they'll call or how they're going to act, your emotional system goes into total overdrive, trying to lock down the connection. It's basically a survival response.
And that creates this vicious cycle. It all starts with that inconsistent hot and cold communication. That inconsistency creates this deep, profound uncertainty and anxiety inside you. And what does our brain do when it's uncertain? It obsesses. It tries to solve the puzzle, which just pours gasoline on the fire of your emotions.
So how do you know if this is the dynamic you're in? Well, look for these signs. Are you always guessing because of their communication? Do you feel anxious way more often than you feel happy or safe? Do your needs and feelings get dismissed or minimized? And does it feel like you're constantly chasing them for just the bare minimum? Come on, these are not signs of passionate love. These are huge red flags.
I want you to just let that one sink in for a minute. All that chaos, all that drama, we've somehow been taught to think that's passion. But real healthy love, it's not a thrill ride that leaves you completely exhausted. It is a place of safety, of peace. It's supposed to feel like coming home.
So if that's what it's like with the wrong person, what about the right one? Well, the difference is like night and day. It is a total shift from all that chaos we were just talking about to a real, genuine sense of calm.
And you can really see that contrast here. With the wrong person, your inner world is just chaos. The connection feels like this frantic, unsustainable intensity. And what's the result? Pure exhaustion. But with the right person, that chaos gets replaced by calm. That intensity is replaced by a steady, reliable presence. And that exhaustion, it's replaced by a deep feeling of being secure.
And the signs of a healthy dynamic? They're just as clear as the red flags. You just feel calm with them, not chaotic. Your emotions feel balanced, not like they're about to totally overwhelm you. You can count on them to communicate clearly and consistently. And maybe the most important thing of all, you feel totally free to be yourself without ever worrying that you're being too much.
All right, let's wrap this all up with the one thing you really need to take away from this. If you remember nothing else, please remember the difference between a love that's steady and one that's stormy.
So I really want you to hear this. That feeling of being too much is not a personal failing. It is not a flaw in your character. It is a compass. It's a sign pointing you away from a dynamic where your emotional rhythm is just completely out of sync with theirs. You are not broken. The connection is. Just let that marinate for a second. The point isn't to find someone who just tolerates your feelings or makes you shrink yourself down to be more manageable for them. No, the goal is to find someone whose presence makes you feel, finally, that you are exactly, perfectly enough, just as you are. And that's the question I want to leave you with. Take a good, honest look at your relationships. Are they a safe harbor for you, or do you feel like you're constantly navigating a storm? Because you absolutely deserve a love that feels like coming home.